Hi guys, Kane here, and I wanted to make an introductory lesson on Puyo Puyo today. So I'm going to assume you know what Puyo is, but you don't really know how to play. Alright, so the goal of this video is, by the end of it, provide you the necessary knowledge to make a 5-chain. So if you can't make 5-chain, or you struggle to make 5-chain, this might be a good place to start. Alright, so the biggest challenge I would say for a new player is you don't really know how to imagine what a functional chain would look like, right? So you get your pieces and you're like, well, I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to put this one here, and it's like, how do I arrange these so that 4 Puyos connect? So instead of starting in-game Puyo Puyo Tetris, where like the pieces just fall and you're under pressure, I'm going to start in Chain Sim, and this is just Puyo Next is just Chain Sim. You might be able to start somewhere else. Doesn't really matter. This is just a drawing board for me, right? It's just a chalkboard. And so what we're going to use this for is imagining what a functioning chain will look like. So after this, I'm going to draw some stuff up. We're going to go over it real quick, and then I'm going to hop over to a separate Puyo simulator, and we're going to actually use both of those in tandem to imagine what our chain's going to look like before we put our pieces down. We're going to put our pieces down, and we're going to have a functional 5-chain. It's going to be really not that complicated. And I think the main thing I want to stress here is I'm going to be using a form called stairs. And if you're watching this, pretty much the method of learning is just memorize it. Alright, so in math, 2 plus 2 is 4. You can analyze that down the road. It doesn't really matter. You're just gonna memorize a few facts, and it's gonna get you to the point where you can make a 5-chain. And you can analyze those later once you have a little bit of understanding, some groundwork, right? Like, you learn stairs just by memorization, and then maybe you try and learn sandwiches, and then you can compare the two. And that's really how you learn. It's comparing stuff, right? So if I were to try and present a whole bunch of concepts, like, the framework for you to understand the concepts is in there. Like, you just need to memorize some facts before you actually go on to try and have a more sophisticated understanding of how Puyo works. So, starting this off, we're in Chain Sim. I'm just going to sketch up some basic concepts. And so, again, we're using a form called stairs. So what is a form? A form is just a standardized shape. When you see it, it's like, yep, that's a stair. So, yeah, let me draw this up. Alright, so a stair is going to be, in this, we're using a 1-3. I'm going to use a 1-3 stair specifically. So 1-3. And this is a stair. A stair has a actuating piece right here, and then a fixed component right here. And so when the actuating red falls, it now has a 4-link. Alright, so generally in a stairs chain, you'll have multiple stacks of your Puyos. Specifically a 1-3 stairs chain, so 1-3 is going to look like this. You're going to do this multiple times. And if we're going for a 5-chain, I need to run this out one more. And so there we go. This is just an idealized 5-chain built with stairs. But again, the stair is just this actuating piece, fixed piece. And then another thing is you can have more in here. This still works. Like, that's the magic of stairs, right? Like, oh no, what are we going to do? The red is now raised. It doesn't matter. It still works. And it cleans up here because we got lucky. That wasn't planned. But yeah. Stairs. That's the form. Now the question is, how do you build the form in an actual match? And so that's kind of where the disconnect between looking at a form and actually learning a form occurs. Is how do I actually start a match? How do I build it? How do I go about doing this? So to do that, I'm going to hop over to a different screen. Alright, so what I got going on here is I have my chalkboard I've got my geosites, and I've got an image of what stairs looks like. So if we're ever like, what stairs look like, right there, that is what it looks like. And it doesn't have to look exactly like that, but that's just a reference example. Geosites is just a Puyo sim that I'm going to use. It's on the internet. I'll link it down below, but it really doesn't matter. You can use any Puyo simulator, even Puyo Tetris. But the goal here is to just, we can stare at this all day before putting the piece down, and then we can, which one is undo? There's an undo option. Amazing. Just for learning. But the big thing about the sim here is that we have our piece and then our next two preview, and you can't do that in a chalkboard. So a lot of learning Puyo is learning how to strategize based on what you have coming up, as well as what you have on the field. Like, you look at the field and they're like, all right, I need 3 greens, and this is your preview. Well, it's gonna be a while before you get 3 greens, so maybe you do something different. And then additionally, I just have my chalkboard over here so I can theorize or whatnot, because when you're first starting off, you probably don't have a really good grasp at imagining all of these. So my goal here is just to kind of show you an example of doing all these processes in an environment that doesn't have any time constraints, so that you could go and replicate the process that I'm doing, get an understanding of how stairs works, and then go do it in an actual match. Okay, so the first thing is, when we're looking at this geosites simulation, we have our active piece and then our 2-piece preview. Now when the match starts, actually, we only have these 2 in the preview and we don't get this one yet. So when you're actually planning out and you're starting around, you can kind of plan from these 2, and then this is a third bit of information you gain after. And then going forward, you have your 2 previews, and then the piece that you generally are probably already actively placing. Alright, so we're looking out. We're going to start the match. We only have the double yellows and the double blues. This one comes after. Where do we want to do this? So I could start on the left or I could start on the right. Kind of preference. When I build stairs, I actually start transition first. We're not talking about transitions. So it's hard for me to say what's the best way to do this, because I honestly don't know. So I'm just going to pick one. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to pick one. I'm going to start on the wall, yellows, and then blues. Okay? So when the round starts, this one's going to be on its way, and then we have this third piece of knowledge, the blue-red, that we can then start thinking about. So before this yellow hits the ground, I'm going to have the blue-blue and the blue-red in the queue. And what I'm thinking, that's a good way to stack for building a stairs chain, right? Like, it's just going to flow on the blues, and then we've got our reds here that are going to be our next link. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw this double yellow down. Now up next, we got a blue-green. Blue-green doesn't really have an ideal place to go. So I'm not going to declare absolute, but I'm thinking, something like this. Throw these over here. If we get the right pieces, we can just flow it naturally into our next links, and that'll be no big deal. Direction on these doesn't matter. We don't necessarily have to have these here, right? Like, the green can be over here even. Like I said, we're trying to keep column 1 clear just to fit the form, but we do have space, right? Like, if I got 2 greens here, we had a blue chain, I can still fire it. So not the most natural pieces for continuing, but it'll work. So let's go ahead and throw down our next one and see, reevaluate where that blue-green's gonna go. Because I'm happy with the blue-red, but So now we've got a blue-green and a green-yellow. It's kind of interesting. We've got two options. I could force the green. So if I did a green-yellow like this is no longer going to be an ideal stairs chain. Or the other option would be to work on the yellows on the tail. Now, not a huge fan of that because I think these greens are more important, but yeah, that's an option. But it's also two pieces out. I'm going to say for now, this is probably the place I'm going to put it, but we can change our mind. So we're now placing this blue-red. And we have the green-blue coming up. We'll have the green-yellow. And then the yellow-blue. We're not getting very many reds, which is making me not happy about this red piece here. But we can work with it. It'll be alright. But the thing is, this green-blue's coming down. So either I've got to commit to that, or I've got to really quickly change my mind and do something different. And so I'm going to go ahead and commit to that. I drew that out, and we're out of time thinking about it. So we're doing the green-blue there. Now, the next question is, do I like this green-yellow here? And followed up with the next blue-yellow. Oops. Like, I could do something like this, or I could throw it over here and just kind of ignore it for now. I do like that since we've got a blue and a yellow here, we're gonna get another one, and it's gonna help us for being able to fire this link over here. Whatever it turns into, it's kind of looking like a monster. That's no big deal. So let's go ahead and just slap that down. Boom. And then we got a blue-green to follow it up, which is interesting. Alright, so this is making me feel a lot better about this. So we're going to do something really gross looking here. But we're going to do this. And it's going to be alright. Because we're only trying to make a 5-chain. We're still not getting any reds. So I'm concerned about this link here. But it's no big deal. So we're just going to slap this down. Trust me, it's going to work. Probably. So I went fast through that. Just because I saw those blues coming up. And again, was not very happy about what I was seeing. But it'll be alright. So I'll probably just throw the blues up here and then do a yellow blue. And the reason for that is because we've got too many blues and there was nowhere good to put them. There was some options, but screw it. This is just what I'm gonna do. It's gonna look ugly, but we're gonna make a 5-chain. That's all that matters, right? Boom. So 5-chain on its way. Oh my gosh, no reds. Brutal. So, holy crap, no reds. Brutal. Alright, so we've got our yellow blue that's active here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this next blue yellow here. And I'm gonna ban this red. Screw it. And we're going the green here, and we're going yellow here. And the goal is to get a chain that looks like this. It's gonna look ugly, but it doesn't matter. So boom, putting that guy there. Oh, boo, that was generous. All right, so I said I was gonna put this green yellow here. In reality, I'm gonna put this green yellow here, and then we're gonna do a double yellow here. Piece order, slight optimization. Yeah, that's thinking smart. Oh my gosh, it took forever to. All right, so this is actually really awesome though, because we got our double yellows, we got a yellow blue, and then we got a blue red trigger. And so this is going to be our functional 5-chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the red, I just had to give up on it. It didn't matter. These yellows were awkward. Didn't matter. And you just got to get enough to fire one of these and repair this in the middle. So let's go ahead and actually finish this. So we're in our match. We throw that down. And we're like, hey, 5 chains my max. Time to go. So there you have it. 5 chain. And 5 chains win. You don't even have to have 5 chains to win. But 5 chains send 2 rocks. 2 rocks is more than 1 screen worth of garbage. So if you hit your opponent with 2 rocks, they're going to lose unless they respond. But you're only making 5 chains. So like, the banter aspect of Puyo is to come later. Just learn how to chain for now. So I'm going to do that again. Hopefully we're going to get better RNG this time. Because that was gross. Like, the yellows in the middle made me panic. But it's all good. That's why we're drawing up. It's like, oh, this isn't working. Do something different. Sometimes you get really bad Puyos for building what you're building. And you gotta improvise, right? Here's one thing to think about. If you got bad Puyos, your opponent got bad Puyos. So, if you can't form a chain, maybe they can't either. And you can do different stuff as a result of that. So I'm going to refresh the geosites. I'm going to wipe this. Alright, so we got a double blue and then a green red. And so if we're going to be trying to build this stairs form again, I wasn't really too happy with how the double yellow was working for me in the corner there. So let's do something different this time. Let's start with the double blues. Let's do in the middle here. Just form this inside out. I like that idea. And then let's say the green red can do something like this maybe. Again, when you're first starting off, you only have your first 2 sets. So we got the double blues and the red and the green. Only once the double blues are, manipulatable in game will the reds fill the queue, and we'll be able to build from there or plan from there. But just starting off, I could do something like this. Yeah, I think that'll work. Why not? So let's go ahead. First piece goes down. We got well, actually, before the first piece even goes down, the reds show up. So I'm thinking, great, we're gonna just our link is forming, right? And then we'll go from there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go forward with that. The next thing is we go to blue yellow. I can throw the blue yellow on here. That's gonna work out well. So let's throw the next piece down. We now have a red yellow, which also works out. Check this out. A little split, but the yellows fill into the yellow queue. The red completes the red link. Yay! So let's just keep going with that. We got another red yellow, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw this yellow in here. You could throw the red up here, or throw the red down here. I'm gonna throw the red down here, but you may want to throw it up here. Actually, screw it. You're throwing the red up here. And the reason for that is because if your opponent sends you garbage, that's one less, row here that they'll have to fill before you won't be able to access your yellow. Okay, so in the actual game, next piece goes down, and then we get a green blue. Excellent. So I'm gonna throw the green on the end here, and then we'll throw the blue in the next column. That's the plan. So here, this one was supposed to go here. We got a blue yellow. This is gonna look ugly. Ugly's okay. So we're gonna throw the double blue here. Now what that means is I'm gonna have to put more blues into the column 5 here, and so like 2 blues to 2 blues, that's 4. And so it's not a big deal. That's just not as clean as the thing above my head, but hey, I don't care. It's gonna work. So we're gonna throw our next piece down. We have the green blues right there, the blue yellow there, and then we got a yellow green. Where do I want to put the yellow green? So I've got 2 options. I could put the yellow green here like this, or I could put the yellow green here like this. In actuality, I would probably do something different than what I have sketched up, but for simplicity purposes, we're just gonna go with green in column 5, yellow in column 6. Just keeps things organized. Alright, so in the actual game, putting that piece down, we have our blue yellow, our yellow green planned out. So then blue reds. So we still need a blue in column 2 to connect on here, but we need more blues out here. And since that blue's attached to our red, we've already got a little bit of a risk factor. Too many reds here, this could pop prematurely. So I'm gonna do blue, red here, like that. So again, this guy is coming out here. The yellow green's gonna come here. Then we got double yellows coming up. The only real good place to put them is gonna be right here, which is interesting. So this chain has taken a unique direction. Blue is no longer the primary link here. Yellow is the primary link. So let me show you this in action. Yellow, it fires next, right? Greens to yellows, and that just kind of happened, right? This isn't like a perfectly clean. If you put a blue up here afterwards, right? Like that's still gonna connect back down. But you don't have to match the forms identically in the game. You just gotta make something that works. And the big thing here is being able to see what can work, and that's what the chalkboard's for, before you do it over in the game. And so this is what's supposed to happen in your head, and this is what's going on the field. Alright, so we've got the green, yellow, blue, red, and then the double yellows planned out. And I'm really happy where all that's going. We got more double yellows. Not so happy about that. So I'm gonna avoid stacking column 3 again. Column 3 will kill you if you top out. I'm just gonna throw it over here. Oh wait, hold on. That blue was a lie. So it's going right there. Another option would have been to pop these yellows. That's an okay option, because then you would start using the blues again, or the yellows, depending on what's coming up next. But I'm gonna retain the yellows for now. Alright, so we got double reds. Double red. We need a green and a blue before we can fire this chain. So I'm just gonna throw the reds over here, just for the sake of having connected reds. Why not? So now we got a blue yellow. I'm gonna definitely throw this guy over here, and that's gonna connect my blue chain, or blue link. Now we'll just need the green link here to finish the chain. Oh, this is really convenient. So first off, we got our green, and the question is, where do we put the blue? So if you put the blue here, it powers, right? So let me just clear that and show you. All right, here we go. So the green comes down, and then the blues right here, we're gonna have 4 blues, ignore this, and then the yellows are gonna connect. So we have a power blue and yellow. Now the question is that preferred? So we're gonna draw these reds back in place, blues back in place. From here, and the answer is no. Having these greens and these blues and these yellows power is not preferred. In fact, we're going to put the green here and split the blue up here. The reason for that is that the way the math works out, if you have 5 Puyos in your groups that are powering, then it's better to have them power. But if you only have 4 Puyos, it's better to have individual links. It's pretty minor, but just trust me on that one. This configuration is better than having them power in this specific scenario. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. You're just trying to make a 5 chain. So back to the board, throw the reds down, and we got yellows. So the last yellows are going to go over here, and we're going to trigger them. So I'm not going to really math out anything after that. We're just going to throw this stuff down and fire our 5 chain. Actually, it's a 6 chain. We got lucky. That little tail. But in the end, that's how that worked. Okay, so I've now done 2 examples, but I just want to recap for you. We're hitting the end of this. It's gone along way too long, probably. But basically, when you're first learning how to play Puyo, the biggest thing is just being able to in your head conceptually imagine, what you're doing, right? Like, before you put your piece down, you need to know why you're putting it where you're putting it. And sometimes it's just like, I didn't like this piece, so I'm going to put it over here, and that's okay. Like, you can get better, but you got to start somewhere. And so, one, just conceptualizing what you're trying to do, and two, it was just to show you stairs as a concept, to help you see it in action, because when you're first learning, you just gotta memorize some arrangements of Puyos, and a really easy one is stairs. There's a lot more sophisticated strategies you can learn with stairs. You can do a lot more with it. So it's not even like it's a bad thing to learn, but it's just like step one. So hopefully you found that useful. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, especially like stuff that didn't make sense, stuff you would like me to explain more, expand on. I can do some more of these, but I was watching someone trying to explain to someone else how to play Puyo, and it's just like too much information. You don't need to make it really complicated to learn how to play Puyo. You just need a basic framework of how you're organizing your chain. You've got stairs. This is the process of you've got stairs. You've got the process of how to use stairs. It's all you need. Go to town. Now, once you get the hang of using the stairs, there's definitely a lot to go from there. Like, this is just step one. But that's all I wanted, was just like step one. So thank you for watching, and yeah, let me know how it goes.